Good evening. The August 23rd, 2021 meeting of the Prescott Valley Board of Adjustment is now called to order. For the information of the public, the Board of Adjustment is an impartial body made up of residents of the town of Prescott Valley who volunteer their time and efforts and are guided by state and local rules and regulations. When you address the board, please state your name and address for the record. Only one person may speak at a time, and all remarks must be addressed to the board as a whole. May we have, I beg your pardon. I'm now going to note town employees who are present. Fernando Gonzalez, Code Enforcement Supervisor. Kelly Campbell, Administrative Support. I will ask the Secretary to please call the roll.
Chairperson Shimon.
Here.
Vice Chairperson Johnson.
Here.
Member Van Boning.
Here.
Member Kunish.
Here.
Member King.
Here.
We proceed now to approval of the minutes from the August 23rd, 2021 meeting of the Prescott Valley Board of Adjustment. I am asking for any changes or modifications to the minutes.
And this is for the May 24th, 2021, right?
May 24th, yes.
You had said August 23rd.
That's because I made a mistake, and I beg your pardon. It is indeed the May 24th. Hearing none, I will ask for a voice motion to approve the minutes. May I have a motion?
I move that the minutes be approved.
May we have a second?
I'll second.
I will ask Ms. Campbell for a voice roll call vote.
Member King.
Yes.
Member Kunish.
Yes.
Member Van Boning.
Yes.
Vice Chairperson Johnson.
Yes.
Chairperson Shimon.
Yes. The minutes are accepted as submitted. Are there any announcements from staff or from board members? Hearing none, I will read the first item of record into the first item on the agenda into the record. We will be dealing with variance V21001 upon the application of Carol Flatgard, agent, and Adam Flatgard, owner, a request for a variance from the residential accessory structure standard in section 1321080 of the Town of Prescott Valley zoning ordinance. The subject property is located at 8201 East Bevy Circle, Prescott Valley, Unit 3, Lot 628, APN number 103-24033. I would now ask for the staff presentation.
Thank you, Chair. The subject property is located on a corner lot in the R1L residential single-family zoning district with a density of 10. The applicant has justifying her variance request is that there is no permit that's required for a 10-by-10 shed, that the zoning was changed after the improvement on Robert Road, that the current location does not block any road signs or access to public works, meters, traffic, and it provides for a cleaner yard. The Code Enforcement Division received a complaint regarding the placement of an accessory structure in the front yard setback. After the investigation of the complaint, it was found that the applicant had erected an accessory structure in the front yard without the benefit of a zoning clearance permit, and a notice was sent to the property owner. Town Code Section 1327 020Z, zoning permits as Exhibit A shows up there that a zoning permit is required for any buildings or structure which are less than 144 square feet. So a building permit is not required, but a zoning clearance permit is required for placement. It further states that the only exception to that is if the new construction, the value is less than $100. And as we all know, cost of construction has gone up. There is no shed that's less than $100. For the Town Code, Section 1321-080, accessory building structures and uses, states clearly that any accessory structure that's not placed or used in the rear one-half of a lot shall maintain the same yard setbacks as the dwelling unit on the same lot. So that tells you that anything that's constructed in the front has to maintain the same setbacks as the house, basically. The minimum setback requirements, of course, have to be established prior to us setting those standards. And then in the Town Code, Section 1302-10B 119 defines a corner lot or a front to a corner lot as that the shortest side abutting the street, and that's considered the front of the property. The next side that's on the street side would be an exterior side, and there's an interior on the rear side. So the shortest side of the street would be Bevy Circle, as noted in the original plat that I've actually put up there. You can see I blew up their property, where you see Bevy Circle's 5302 linear feet in the front, or on Bevy Circle side, and 101.78 on the Robert Road side. Per town definition, Bevy Circle is the front, would be considered the front, and therefore subject to the 25-foot setback as required by the density district, which is the 10. It is important to note that the current zoning has not been changed prior to or after the implementation of the improvements on Robert Road. The only thing that was issued was a construction easement at the time for them to create the sidewalks. So any zoning map change would be actually something that the applicant or the property owner would have to request from the town. We wouldn't arbitrarily just go in there and change somebody's zoning. The property owner does have other options to place the shed. The shed can be placed in the rear of the property. I have, oh no, I don't. Could be placed in the rear of the property where the 70, 98. The house is actually facing Robert Road. However, at the time of construction or any time after that, before that or after, the town doesn't get involved on how whoever builds a home places the home, whatever, which way they want to, because they may want a different view, so they might not want to face Bevy Circle. They may want to face Robert or anywhere else. As long as they meet the setbacks, it's usually approved. That being said, the facts are basic. The applicant caused the accessory structure to be constructed on the property without the benefit of a zoning permit. The property owner has options with the permit to place the accessory structure that can and will comply with town code. There are no special circumstances applicable to the property, and they are self-imposed at this time. Granting the variance would give the property owner special privileges that not afforded to other neighbors. So because of that, staff is recommending that the board deny V21-01 and not allow the structure to be remain in the location that it's in now. And I apologize, there's a typo there. That's all I have. Do you have any questions? And like I said, the applicant is here to make a presentation as well.
Have any members of the board questions for Mr. Gonzalez?
I do, Madam Chairman. When you look at the property, it is a kind of squished in there with only 52 feet of depth. And if you count Bevy Circle as the front of the building, a 10 by 10 shed, the only thing they could do would be to put it on the side, on the one side of the building, that behind the fence that they have there, which there's large trees there.
They can place it in the rear of the property. I understand from talking to the applicant at the counter that the only reason it wasn't placed in the rear part of the property is because of the access. They'd have to go around, and she could probably better explain it than I could.
Yeah, when I drove by the property the other night, you can see that back part of the property, you know, they have a fence there, so that piece of property is not fenced. So I imagine if that shed was back there, it'd be subject to theft or whatever and wouldn't work too good, so, unless they would, you know, change the fence.
Correct, unless they fenced it, which they would be able to do.
Because if they even put the shed where the trailer is right now, it wouldn't meet the code.
No, it'd
Have to be back 50% back
Correct.
behind.
It'd have to be behind the home or right parallel to the home. And because it's not in the rear one half, it would have to, if they put it on the Robert Road side, it'd have to be 10 feet back from that property line as
That
well.
wouldn't fit there.
May not fit there,
I
no.
don't think it would.
No.
It was pretty tight.
Right. The only option that I would see, and the only recommendation I made, was that it be placed in the rear yard, but there was concern about theft, that, like you said, they can fence it. There's ability to put fencing back there.
Side yard would be the only one. I don't know what side is that, the west side?
It would be the north side, not really the
know
west.
how
It'd be over by where it says 70 feet, 70.89.
If you're on Bevy facing, it'd be the right side,
Correct.
yeah.
Right.
Into that yard back there would be the only place that it would fit according to zoning right now. Or back behind the house.
Correct, there or behind the house.
Wanted to sure that everybody felt that way, you know, how it's laid out, because it's a very difficult lot with the narrowness of the lot.
Right. And the people who originally constructed the house may have not taken that into consideration at the time.
Are there further questions from board members for Mr. Gonzalez? Hearing none, we would give the applicant the opportunity to address the board.
My name is Carol Flatgard. I reside at 8201 East Bevy Circle, which is the property in question. Which you pointed out, the one reason that we put the shed there, we have had high theft coming off of Robert Road. We have 5 kids. We have 2 cars in our garage. We have 2 kids that drive already. We put all the kids' dirt bikes, their quads, all the high-priced items that have been stolen out of our yard previously into that shed to kind of make it cleaner up in our yard. We had neighbors that would complain that the kids' bikes were left out. And so we tried to, you know, put everything together so that it was nice and tidy for the neighbors. It is a weird lot. You know, when they expanded Robert Road, they did take away about half of the yard that we had in the front. That was shortened, which is now the sidewalk. We have, the last couple of years, really tried to narrow in and, you know, put more money aside so that we could build a bigger fence. And I was T-boned. I lost a vehicle, which then in turn took the money that we had set aside to buy a new vehicle. You know, all 5 of our kids play sports. We own a company. We both work full-time. I go to school. And so that was the only logical place to put the shed. It doesn't block access to Robert Road. It doesn't block the view of the signs or the street signs. And the backyard just isn't fenced, which is why we did that. It looks clean. There's not any, it's not, you know, an aluminum shed that's falling apart. We really tried to take pride in putting it there and pick a color that matched the house that we live in, along with other houses that are in the circle. We had done our research. We were not aware of the zoning permits, but we did research building permits before we did it, which was not applicable to ours because it's only 100 square feet. So at this point, the only option we have is to keep the stuff in the shed and ask for the variance to allow the shed to stay. There's not much of an option after that. I have pictures of everything inside of the shed. I have pictures of our garage. There's nowhere to put it. I mean, and to have access for the kids, there's no immediate access to the back for the kids to take out their quads or dirt bikes. They're not allowed on the sidewalk, so they wouldn't even be able to pull them out and ride around. All the kids ride bikes in the neighborhood, in that circle that we live in. They ride their dirt bikes out there. They ride their quads out there. You know, there's just no access. So it'd be illegal to allow our kids to ride them on the sidewalk, even to pull them out to play on them. And so it's just, The only option we had was to put up a shed. I don't know anything else to say, honestly. We tried our best and did what we thought the research would allow. And we're just asking for a variance to keep our kids' stuff.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The matter returns to the board for discussion. Is there a board member who wishes to initiate that?
Madam Chairman, I have a question for her. That would there be a possibility to put it on the right side of the home if you're facing from Bevy Circle, because that area is fairly deep. I don't know what's back there because there's a fence there, but could you put it behind that fence?
Inside of the fenced area?
Yeah.
There's no room for it to go inside the fence area. It would be too close to the home, which causes the fire risk. It doesn't have the appropriate setback. And then it'd be too close to the road if we did. Everything inside of that fence is either trees or the walkway to the front door. There's nowhere to move it inside of the fence. Outside of the fence, in the back lot spanning the 70-foot .98 area, it could go back there. We tried to talk to a moving company. They cannot get access back there. There's no divot in the sidewalk for them to drive up to unload the shed back there. And then we have the concern of the neighbors' dogs, even weed eating our yard. And I mean, we've had notices, we're not perfect for our weeds back there, but there's an area we can't get to because of the neighbor's dog. That dog tries to jump the fence and is not a nice dog. It has gotten out, it has attacked other dogs. It's a safety concern at that point, not even including the fact that we can't get a vehicle in there. There's no drive-through on that part of the sidewalk. It's solid.
Side interior is 7 feet, so not room back there to put that and stay 7 feet away from the property line?
There is in that back, but there's no way to move it. Inside of the fence, no, there's not enough setback between our property and the neighbor's property or between our property and Robert Road for it to be allowed in that space.
Have we had any members who wish to contribute further discussion? Hearing none, I will make a motion based on our warrant as a board and based on town code. My motion is that the board deny the variance V21001 based on the finding of fact from the town, and that the difficulty, the circumstances that would warrant a variance cannot be self-imposed. That is my motion. Have I a second?
Second.
May I have a roll call vote?
Member King?
Yes.
Member Kunish?
Yes.
Member Van Boning?
Yes.
Vice Chairperson Johnson?
Yes.
Chairperson Shimon?
Yes. The board has voted to deny the variance. Is there anyone in the public venue who would like to address the board? Hearing no comment from the public, I would state, also hearing no further business, I'll accept a motion to adjourn.
I move to adjourn.
May I have a voice call vote? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye.